So, you're looking to buy a new gaming PC. Why? Maybe because you're not impressed by the PS4 or the Xbox One. Or maybe you're just looking to replace your old PC. Whatever your case might be, we got you covered. So, first things first, what is your budget? $600 to $1000 is usually a good amount to spend on one. That is, if you're looking for best bang for your buck. Once you decide your budget, you can divide it up. But make sure to keep some budget as buffer, as PC building tend to have a lot of hidden costs. Like you may want to buy a Bluetooth adapter or maybe an SD card reader, stuff like that. Secondly, consider what games you play or planning to play. If you want to play CPU intensive games like Minecraft or PlanetSide 2, you should get a good CPU obviously. Or maybe you want to play graphically intensive games like Crysis 3 or Battlefield 4, you should spend as much as you can on your GPU. The next thing you have to decide is whether you are going to buy or build your own PC. They both have their advantages and disadvantages. Like pre-built systems have a higher premium or there's a constant risk when building your own system, etc. In general, if your budget is less than $1000, it is always a good idea to build your own PC. That way, you could get the maximum performance possible for your money. Now, let me elaborate the functions and importance of each of your components. Firstly, CPU. Right now, the best choice would be the i5-4670K on the Intel side and the FX 6300 and the 8320 on AMD side. Feel free to skimp out a little on your CPU, but just make sure it won't bottleneck your graphics card. If you're looking to overclock your CPU, I would suggest you not to, because overclocking gives you a very minimal gain inside games. But if you want your CPU to run quieter and cooler, you may get an aftermarket heatsink. Thirdly, storage. SSDs are the trend now, but that doesn't mean you have to go out and buy one. But they do offer nice advantages like quick boot times, stuff like that. Whether to buy one or not is your choice. As for your mass storage, just buy a 1TB Western Digital Caviar Blue and call it a day. If you want, you can easily upgrade later. Fourthly, power supply. Modern PCs use substantially less power than ones made a few years ago. The best thing to do is to go to coolermaster.outervision.com, input your options and get the wattage, and get your power supply from a reputable brand like Corsair or Seasonic. Power supply's efficiency range from 80 plus bronze to platinum, so pick the one you're comfortable with. Fifthly, your motherboard and case. Don't worry about your motherboard as long as you are overclocking. Get the one which has all the features that you want and the number of SATA, USB and RAM slots you need. As far as your case goes, it should not only be good looking but also should offer good airflow and should also be quiet. Also, you can spend anywhere between 5 to 10% of your budget on your case. Finally, accessories. It is always a good idea to have a nice 1080p monitor. A host of high performance mice and keyboard exist, but unless you are a professional gamer, you won't need them. But however, the real question is whether you want a wireless or a wired keyboard and mouse. You may also want to get a gamepad, well that is if you prefer to play on one. If you have decided to build your own PC, I suggest you to go to pcpartpicker.com to get the best deals on your parts, or go to ncix.com or cyberpowerpc.com if you want a pre-built one. Anyways, happy gaming and peace out.